Hello, and welcome to Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. Today we will be starting our 9th unit, the urinary system. The objectives of this unit include identifying gross structures of the urinary system, identifying the structures of the nephron, tracing the flow of filtrate/urine from the capsular space to the external urethral orifice, identifying the microscopic anatomy of the urinary system. The urinary system is the group of organs that consists of the kidneys and the urinary tract. The urinary tract contains the ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. This system is important due to the fact that it performs many functions that are critical to the maintenance of homeostasis, our body's physiological process of maintaining balance. Some of these homeostatic processes consist of, but surely are not limited to, kidneys and their ability to filter blood and their ability to regulate the body's fluids. This system and its organs are pivotal to removing metabolic wastes, regulating electrolyte and acid-base balance, conserving and excreting water, and more. As you can already tell, this organ system is extremely important. In this unit, you are going to become acquainted with not only the anatomy of the urinary system, but the histology and basic physiology of this organ system. I've mentioned the kidneys already a couple times. These urinary system organs are located against the posterior body wall, posterior to the peritoneal membranes, also known as retroperitoneal. Within each of the kidneys, there are 3 distinct regions that can be seen. The renal cortex, which is the most superficial region and can be described as dark brown in color due to the many blood vessels that serve the blood filtering structures of the kidney, also known as the nephrons. Renal medulla, which is the middle region that contains renal pyramids separated by renal columns. It is in the renal pyramids that looping tubules of nephrons are located, as well as structures that drain fluid from the nephrons. At the end of these pyramids are renal papilla. Renal pelvis, which is where the fluid of the renal papilla drains into the tubes called minor calyces, which in turn drain into even larger major calyces. These major calyces drain into the kidney's innermost region, the renal pelvis, which is the basin for collecting urine. Understanding the blood flow through the kidney is important in understanding the urinary system. As you learn more about this flow of blood, be sure to understand that its primary function is to maintain the homeostasis of the blood. Also be sure to note where it starts and what structures it makes its way through, as this is particularly important for your understanding of this system and could be helpful for the practical. Figure 9.3 showcases this pathway of blood flow through the kidney with A showing the blood vessels of the kidney and B showing the microcirculation of the kidney. Figure 9.4 showcases the structure of the renal corpuscle and filtration membrane. Be sure to use these figures as you study the pathway of the blood flow. It puts an image to the text acknowledged earlier. Be sure to understand that from the capsular space, the filtrate then enters the renal tubule. The renal tubule, which can be seen in figure 9.5, has 3 parts: the proximal tubule, the descending and ascending limbs of the nephron loop, and the distal tubule. After passing through the renal tubule and collecting system, and then entering the minor calyces, the filtrate becomes urine. This urine then makes its way to the renal pelvis, where the urine can enter the next organs of the urinary system. Remember, this was all happening in the kidneys. The first organ following the kidneys is the ureters, with the urinary bladder and urethra following after it. Figures 9.6 to 9.9 all will prove to be helpful in showcasing these urinary system organs and their internal structures. Be sure to notice the difference between a male and female urinary system, as they are different. All right, let's talk about the histology of these organs a bit now. The ureters and urinary bladder consist of several tissue layers. The innermost layer, known as the mucosa, the middle layer, which is the submucosa, and the outermost layer, which is the adventitia. Each of these layers are made of different types of tissues, so do note this difference as well as similarities. In this exercise, you will be examining the tissues in the two different regions, the renal cortex and the renal medulla. Again, be able to make comparisons and differences between these two different regions, and think about why these regions may look a little different. You will also be looking at the glomeruli within the renal cortex. Be sure you are able to see these structures and know what you're looking at. Where are the renal tubules? What about the glomerular capillaries, nephron loop, collecting duct, and more? At the end of this unit, you will notice review questions covering the material learned: the anatomy of the urinary system, the histology, and basic physiology of this organ system. Be sure you use the knowledge gained to answer these questions. And don't forget that these can always be utilized as a study tool for your practical. Thank you for joining me as we started to investigate the urinary system. Have fun as you continue to adventure further, and I'll see you for the next unit.